Already, Judge.
We're all set on all three?
Yes, sir.
All right. If I can have your attention, Thomas Freeman, Diana Lucas, and Joe Morales.
Yes, sir.
Would the three of you please raise your right hand?
Right hand.
Mr.
Raise your right.
Morales,
Yes.
Mr. Morales, I don't see you or your video. Mr. Arguez, do you have a video on Joe Morales?
I do not, Judge, but I believe he just excused himself really quickly because he's on his phone and there he is. Just going signing the paperwork.
Yeah, sorry, Your Honor. I'm almost done signing the paperwork. I'm just in the middle of it. I'm just putting in my information.
I'm doing
Right,
me.
but I don't see you. I don't have video on you.
Oh, sorry. Let me get back to the main screen. Okay, there mind.
Yeah.
Put it down. I'm doing somebody else.
Okay, raise your hand.
Huh?
Raise your hand.
Raise my hand. Okay.
Do you each individually solemnly swear that in this proceeding, the information and responses or answers that you submit will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Mr. Freeman.
Yes, sir.
Thanks. You put your hand down. Ms. Lucas,
Yes, sir.
put your hand down, please. Mr. Morales,
Yes, sir.
I still have trouble seeing you. Put your hand down, please.
Oh.
All right. Now, before we proceed, I need to talk to each of you individually and talk to you about your constitutional rights and protections in this matter. Under the U.S. and Texas Constitutions, each of you individually has, you know what, excuse me, let me call the case number while I'm at it to make sure we're on the right thing. Case number 619304 is Thomas Freeman.
Yes, sir.
Ready? Case number 652819 is Diana Lucas.
Yes, sir.
And case number 656334 is Joe Morales. Now,
Yes, sir.
as I started to tell you, each of you has a right to remain silent. Each of you individually does not have to make any kind of statement. You don't have to answer any questions. You don't have to submit any kind of paperwork that has your signature, especially papers that confess or admit to wrongdoing. Do you understand you have that right, Mr. Freeman?
Yes, yes, sir.
Ms. Lucas,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Morales,
Yes, sir.
you each have the right individually to a jury trial. That means that you and your attorney, your defense attorney, and the state's attorney would select 6 people from a jury pool that's randomly put together. Those 6 people would hear the evidence, testimony, look at the materials in your individual case, and decide whether you are individually guilty or not guilty. That's called the right to a jury trial. You understand you have that right, Mr. Freeman?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Lucas
Yes.
and Mr. Morales.
Yes, sir.
All right. You also have the right to confront your witnesses. That means you have the right to face your accusers. You and your attorney can ask questions, challenge them, cross-examine. That's if you go to trial. Do you understand you have that right, Mr. Freeman?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Lucas
Yes, sir.
and Mr. Morales.
Yes, sir.
There's also a right called the right to appeal. That right you can exercise by yourself or your attorney by himself or herself, or to the two of you together. It is a right wherein you would demand, after all the dust settles, you would demand that a higher court review the official record in this proceeding and look at the evidence and the results for whatever challenge you wanted to make. That's usually basically the right to appeal. You'd have to follow the right procedure using the right papers and the time limits involved. That's called the right to appeal. You understand you have that right, Mr. Morales,
Yes.
Ms. Lucas,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Freeman.
Yes, sir.
All right. Finally, you have the right. Now, each of you individually and the state in each of your cases has a right to have this hearing in the public open courtroom. As you know, because of the pandemic, the COVID pandemic, we have not been doing that. Hopefully we will soon, but you have the right to demand that. Instead, though, we're doing this by video conference, and that is being streamed on YouTube publicly. Anyone who wants to tune in can watch and hear, but it is still not in the open public courtroom. You have the right to demand that. So does the state individually. Do you understand you have that right, Ms. Lucas,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes, sir.
and Mr. Morales?
Yes, sir.
Now, I have reminded you each, and you have acknowledged that you know about those rights. If you persist in a plea in your particular case, you give up those rights. And the paperwork that you have reviewed with your attorneys individually, each of you, the paperwork tells you that those rights, you're giving them up freely and voluntarily. Mr. Freeman and Julia Hernandez, did y'all review all the paperwork in your particular case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Did y'all understand the papers?
Yes,
sir.
Judge.
Any questions about them, Mr. Freeman?
No, sir.
All right. Ms. Lucas, did you review all the paperwork with Ms. Beza or Ms. Corley regarding
Yes.
the charge against you?
Yes, sir.
Did you
Yes,
have
sir.
any questions about them?
No, sir.
Mm,
And you did sign the papers, Ms. Lucas?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Beza, did you review them or did Ms. Corley review them?
Judge, Miss Corley reviewed the documents with Miss Lucas.
All right, thank you. Mr. Morales and Mr. Arguelles, did y'all each review these documents in your case regarding this charge?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Your
And
Honor.
Mr. Morales, you understood the papers? You have any questions?
Yes, sir. I already signed one of the emails that he sent me. I'm just in the midst of signing the other ones.
All righty. And you do understand those papers? They've been explained to you by your attorney?
Yes, sir.
All right, any questions?
No, sir.
All right. Which one first, Patty?
Ms.
Patricia?
Lucas.
Ms. Lucas, all right. Let's look at by the way, all three of you, I'm gonna share your papers with you on the screen by video conference. On each of your cases individually, it'll have what I call identifying information at the top.
Was that? Okay.
And then it's followed by a particular title of the document that will be in all capitals, bold print. The one before us right now is Diana Lynn Lucas, case number 652819 in County Court Law number 5. That's the identifying information. This particular document is called State's Consent to Video Conference. You'll notice, Ms. Lucas, that it is signed by Andrew Harris Edelman. It indicates that they agree to the video conference. Do you understand that, Ms. Lucas?
Yes, sir.
All right, the next document, the same identifying information because it's a different document. This one says discovery acknowledgement. There is a particular law called Article 39.14 of the Code of Criminal Procedure. It requires the state to share with you, to acknowledge to you all of the documents, receipts, papers, videos, whatever they have, so that you and your attorney could make an informed and intelligent decision. Did you see it? Did you see and understand this?
Yes, sir.
And it is signed by your attorney and the state's attorney saying that that law has been obeyed. You see that?
Yes.
All right. The next document is called Defendant's Consent to Video Conference. That's yours. You're saying, yes, you agree to video conference. You're not demanding that we come into the courtroom. And it's signed by you and your attorney. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then the next one is yours. This one is again with the video identifying information. This one's called Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions. It starts off with 3 individual sentences. You acknowledge, you tell us, you admit that you were charged originally with driving while intoxicated, second. And then it says, I hereby enter a plea of nolo contendere to driving while intoxicated. Now, if you notice there, the 2D or the second has been dropped from there. Do you see that?
Yes,
I keep everything at my house.
So your attorney is making a very good deal for you and lowering from DWI second to DWI. The rest of this document is divided into 15 numbered parts. Part 1 is the range of punishment. Did you understand that there?
yes, sir.
You see that check mark on there's a stack of boxes stacked vertically, and
Right.
they all say something of different types of punishments. What's that first one that you checked off? What is that?
It's the DWI number 1,
Uh-huh. What's the punishment?
0 to 2,000 fine, 72 hours to 180 days in jail.
Do you understand what that can be? That's a punishment you can get.
Yes, sir.
All right. The rest of this document, Ms. Beza, did you review this with your client?
Judge, the document was reviewed with Ms. Corley.
Okay. And you are, as an officer of the court, you're telling me that you know that that happened.
Yes, Judge, I am.
Okay. Ms. Lucas, where were you born, ma'am?
San Antonio, Texas.
The documents in this file will reflect that you are a U.S. citizen. This
Yes, sir.
document has 15 parts numbered. And did you understand what they say, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
And you did sign them.
Yes, sir.
All right. This document before you now is titled Trial Court's Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. There is a vertical stack of boxes, each one saying something different about a different type of right of appeal. We talked to you about, and the other 2 people, about the right of appeal earlier. There's one check mark there, and I am certifying to you what it says. It says this is a plea bargain case. The defendant has no right of appeal. Did you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And you have signed it, and so has your attorney, Ms. Corley. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. The document now before you has the same identifying information. This one is titled Application for Judge Ordered Community Supervision Probation. Just to quickly make sure that you understand, ma'am, probation is a written, legal, binding agreement between you and this court. That agreement requires you, that agreement includes the punishment that you have agreed to, including a sentence of jail, that you have to serve time in jail, but that jail part is suspended, it's probated, so long as you live up to the conditions of supervision. The conditions of supervision will be read to you, you will sign them, and you'll have a copy placed in your hands. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
As long as you live up to the conditions, you won't see me again. You will never see the jail. If you violate the conditions, Ms. Lucas, then the state can ask me to give you official notice, bring you in for a hearing, and if the evidence supports it, I can send you to jail. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
All right. Next document. This is a personal data sheet, I believe. There it is. You have filled all that information in, and it is true and accurate. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, you work for Team Care Rehab. You make $30 an hour.
Yes, sir.
How many hours a week do you work?
20.
20 hours, so you're getting approximately $600 per week. All right.
Yes, sir.
You put the information there.
There's some phone numbers and stuff I gotta fill in, but yes, sir. The
All
name.
right, I'm ordering you to complete that information. All
Yes,
right.
sir.
It says here, you're divorced. You have 4 dependents. You're talking about under 18 years of age?
Oh, no, sir. They're all over that age.
Okay, so just so you understand, I will not consider them as dependents for purposes of punishment and fines and stuff. All
Yes,
right,
sir.
you have a 2012 Nissan Sentra. All right. Now we're gonna take a moment to load up the actual plea bargain, the plea agreement it's called. It has identifying information. It does not mention County Court 5, but it has your name in the case number. The first 2 boxes I will have marked. The first one talks about the fact that you know and understand you have a right to remain silent. The second one identifies you as a U.S. citizen, as I did a moment ago under oath. Then there's 5 check marks on little boxes stacked up that talk about all the different rights and protections that you know, understand, and that we've talked about in this proceeding.
Yes, sir.
Now, at this point, remember you started off with DWI second. The state has a motion.
The state moves to waive the prior conviction enhancement and proceed as an unenhanced DWI.
All right. Defense, any objections?
No objection, Judge.
There being no objection, I will have marked under that the court admits or grants the motion as stated by the state. That means, ma'am, that you officially are this case is officially now a DWI first or misdemeanor B. To that charge, a DWI first or misdemeanor B, how do you plead, ma'am, officially?
The non-contending.
Okay, no contest, nolo contendere. The court accepts your plea. I will remind you that a nolo contendere or no contest is considered a guilty by this court. Now, I am ordering you to come to the offices of court number 5 here in downtown at the courthouse. You are to provide and have your thumbprint affixed to the papers required by the Code of Criminal Procedure. Based on your plea and the evidence, I find you guilty. You are sentenced to 6 months Bexar County Jail, but that is probated or suspended for 12 months. You are fined $500. Of that $500, the original deal is that you will have half of that suspended, $250. If you live up to all the conditions, you would only pay $250. I will address that momentarily. You will perform 48 hours of community service restitution. Want to scroll down, please? Right now. You will, in good faith, enroll in and complete the DWI education program, the DWI Victim Impact Panel. You'll submit to what's called a TAP evaluation and follow the recommendations. You will have installed in your vehicle the Scram with camera. Well, that is not installed into the vehicle. That is, you will have installed the Scram with the camera. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
Your supervisory fee is going to be $34 a month. Now, I will address the issue of the fine. I am fining you $500, but I'm not going to probate half of that. You're going to pay all of it. This was a DWI second that your attorneys were able to reduce to a DWI. I am very concerned that there have been 2 occasions now where you've been arrested. If you get a 3rd one, ma'am, that's a felony. That's state prison, not your local jail. You go to state prison. Do you hear what I'm saying to you, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Now, because I am not forgiving the other 250, that turns out to be that I am giving you a heavier sentence than you originally had. then you have the right to start all over again if you want to. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Do you wish to confer with your attorney to decide whether you want to start all over, or do you want to just go ahead and get it over with and accept what I have declared? Ms. Bezna, do you want to discuss it with her or anything?
Yes, Judge. I would like to do that really quickly.
All right.